participated. Welcome everyone, it's so wonderful to see you, it's a beautiful day. I'm David Heitstuman, the CEO of the organization. I use he, him, his pronouns, and I would like to introduce you to our board president, Carl Colegrove.
Wow, hello everybody, good afternoon. What a beautiful day, am I right? I don't think we could have asked for better weather today. I'm super happy to be here, and can we get a big round of applause for all of our elected officials and community members up here? This is like an amazing panel of folks. Thank you all for being here. All right, well, let me start out with Heyoung, Wilmalyo, Carl Colegrove Don Holier, which means hello, my friends. My name is Carl Colegrove, and I use he, him pronouns. I am a queer indigenous member of the Hoopa Valley tribe, whose lands are nestled deep within the mountains of far northern California. I know this is Northern California, but even farther from here, between the Redwoods and the Trinity Alps wilderness. I'm also honored to stand before you all today as a member of this community as well, and as a president of the Sacramento LGBT Community Center. It is my duty and my pleasure to welcome you all into the space today. But first, I would be remiss if I did not open today's celebration by acknowledging the region's first people and the ancestral lands we stand upon right now. The history of the Sacramento area and the people is rich in heritage, culture, and tradition. The area that the center stands on, the area that we're standing on currently, was and still is the tribal land of the Nisenan people. You see, Sacramento was a gathering place for many local tribes who have lived throughout the Central Valley and the foothills for generations, and were the original stewards of this land. So today, I would like to acknowledge the Southern Maidu people to the north, the Valley and Plains Miwok people to the south of the American River, and the Patwin-Wintun peoples west of the Sacramento River. I would also like to give special recognition to the Wilton Rancheria, which is the only federal recognized tribe here in Sacramento County. So together as a board, as a community, we acknowledge that we are standing on tribal lands of Sacramento's indigenous people. And I'm personally humbled and grateful to be surrounded by the local indigenous community and culture that, despite generations of adversity, still continues to thrive to this very day. So thank you for that. But today, we're here to celebrate some very, very exciting news, right? I think we all know why we're here today. It is the official launch of the Center's Capital Campaign, a project that has been the vision of Center leadership and community partners for quite some time now. So I'd like to give a special shout out to the Center's board right now for their continued support and dedication to this project. So if y'all are here while I read your names, just give us a shout out. Dr. Joshua Moon Johnson, Vice President. Maya Wallace, Board Secretary. Jody Nelson, Board Treasurer. Natalie Fujikawa, Director. Frank Mecca. I saw Frank around here. Frank. Carl Cruda. Darcy Totten. Lawrence Shelley Lowry. Lawrence. Dr. Umberto Temporini. Patrick Harbison. Trina Gonzalez. Josh Nisbet. And Eddie Marino. Please give our board a very big round of applause. Thank you. Well, I've only been on the board for a short while. It feels like a short while, about 3 years. I've been a member of this community long enough to realize how important the center's services really are. The provision of 3 housing programs for homeless youth, a safe space for social and emotional support with access to mental health, respite, and peer mentorship, and the center's economic justice program, which works to connect members of our community to gender-affirming employment and supportive services, are just a few of the reasons I've chosen to pledge my support to the center's capital campaign. You'll have an opportunity to hear more about the positive impact the center's programming has had on our community a little later in this program. So before I hand it back over to our chief executive, who has worked so tirelessly to bring us all to this moment today, I want to congratulate the center staff in the attainment of this beautiful building standing before us all. And I really invite the community and challenge y'all to pledge your support to this campaign, to ensure that that our building stands to serve members of our LGBTQ and Two-Spirit communities for decades to come. So thank you. Please welcome our Chief Executive Officer, David Heitstuman.
Thank you so very much, Carl, and thank you for the reminder that this land is not our land. My name, as I said earlier, is David Heitstuman, CEO of the Sacramento LGBT Community Center, and I wouldn't be standing here today without 2 very important people in my life who happen to have traveled here this weekend from Washington State. My parents, Mike and Maze Heitstuman, are right back there in the center. I also want to thank all the board of directors members and cabinet members who have been working tirelessly to get us to this day. Particularly past board presidents, Carlos Marquez here in the front, and Allain that have been strong leaders and parts of this journey. When I got involved with the center 10 years ago, I couldn't have imagined this day would ever come, nor had the folks who kind of had come before me for many, many years. But the progress that the LGBTQ movement and the center has made was used to be just a dream. And it's finally coming into focus as a reality. I used to walk by this building and sort of peer in the windows and think to myself and tell my partner Spencer that if we ever won the lottery, really if he ever won the lottery, that this is the building we would have to buy for the center. Even though all I knew is that there was an elevator and there were some big rooms and it had a presence here in the neighborhood. So even though I haven't won the lottery yet, I feel like we've achieved something very close. We've dramatically increased services and the community impact that we've had over the last several years, adding housing services for youth, mental health services, a lot more sexual and gender health services, advocacy and cultural humility work, and economic justice and employment services. We've been much more intentional about reaching the most marginalized in our community, focusing on racial justice, racial equity, and creating more access points in the communities that are most in need, including the launch of our new Marsha P. Johnson Center South location that we opened last June. We've established more meaningful partnerships with other service providers to expand the reach and impact of our work, become more responsive to changing community needs, including those that have arisen to no one's guess during a global pandemic. We've invested in the resiliency and sustainability of the organization and the impact that we have in the community with a strong and supportive board, a professional staff, and a new facility that our community can truly be proud of. As cute as that little yellow house across from the Merc was, it was never going to meet the community needs, and we were never going to be able to thrive there. It was inaccessible and unwelcoming, and we weren't able to grow. But with your help, this Welcome Home campaign that we're introducing today will allow us to fulfill a long-held dream of owning a home for our community. It will establish a permanent presence in the heart of a historically LGBTQ neighborhood, and once reconfigured and renovated, the space will help meet our current and future community needs. I am so proud to share with you today that we have secured $5.1 million of our $6 million capital campaign grant. We are very excited to share this opportunity for community members to join us in this campaign. Because it's about more than a building. It's about creating a safe, open, and welcoming space for everything and everyone in our community, where we can grow with the LGBTQ community. Because the center isn't just a building, it's the people who work here, it's the volunteers, it's the community members who come in to access services. It's all of you who support this work and engage in our community building work. The impact of your contributions to this campaign will help us do even more and serve even more community members. Completion of the campaign will ensure that every dollar we raise in the future can be devoted to serving more people, not serving a mortgage. I would now like to introduce you to Angel, a community member, volunteer, and intern that I have been very proud to work with at the center, who has been an active part of that impact.
Hi everyone, I kind of got asked to participate and so I didn't prepare much, so bear with me. But my name's Angel, my pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'm an advocacy and training director here at the center. I've been with the center because of the great staff, and I just see how much it's grown, and everything that the center is now is a testament to David's work and to all the staff's work and dedication. The advocacy and training program, my boss is Alexis Sanchez. I don't see her here. I don't think she's here, but we are under the Economic Justice Program, and we track legislation that will further the center's mission, vision, and goals, and we impart our knowledge onto the community so businesses and organizations can contact us and let us know that they are interested in supporting the community by having us facilitate a training with them, and that way our community is better received by the public, by the employers, and so they know how to better deal with us. So thank you all for coming. Again, my name is Angel. It was nice being up here and seeing all of you, some familiar faces.
Thank you very much, Angel. It's been really inspiring to watch you learn and grow and help support us here at the center. And I'm so grateful that you're here with us today. I'd now like to introduce you to Ken Plumlee and Allain, the co-chairs of the campaign, with whom I share profound appreciation for trusting in this vision and making personal contributions and being excellent partners in the work to create this campaign.
Thank you, David. Good afternoon. My name is Allain. This is my capable co-chair, Ken Plumlee. Capable is an understatement. But before I go any further, I do want to, and don't be mad at me, David, I have to tell you that we are under the leadership, the two of us, with this gentleman who is, oh my gosh, everything and more. He makes everything good, great. And it is a blessing to be on a team with these capable and talented friends and colleagues. So what I wanted to do, and I want to thank you all for being here with us today. If I could have brought some umbrellas to shade you, I would have. I want you to know that. But anyway, this is a beautiful spring day in Sacramento. A blessing to have you with us. I think what this does for us is it takes something that's an entity and it brings it to life. We get to be with each other. We get to see who is the campaign and celebrate something significant in a good way. What I'd like to do, without further ado, if I may, is to actually introduce who makes up our cabinet, if I may. And I have to cheat. I need my readers. Bear with me. I know.
You're human.
I know. Come on. I get it. And I'm not. You'll let me know if I miss somebody. Yeah. But I do want to introduce you to Brandon Sousa. He works on our campaign. Thank you, Brandon. Appreciate all the work that you've done. Do want to recognize again Patrick Harbison. I do want to recognize the esteemed and honorable SMUD board member Rosanna Herbert behind me. I do do want to recognize the Western Health Advantage CEO, Gary Mizell. Some other campaign cabinet members that are not with us today that I do want to recognize. Dennis Mangers, our good, Denny is our good, I know everybody knows Denny. Denny is our arts, culture, civil rights leader, and but he's been also a really active participant on the campaign, so a big shout out to Denny Mangers. Also, real estate agent Brian McMartin, are you with us today? Okay.
All right, Brian.
Janet Lyle, is Janet with us? She's not okay. Very good. Also Todd Kulakian, Janet Lyle, Jeff Tentis, and Mike Tentis and Jeff Farley. So thank you to all of those folks. Without further ado, I will turn the stage over to my dear friend and colleague, Ken Plumlee.
Thanks, Ellen. It's so exciting to be here this afternoon, and the fact that we're standing here on 20th Street in front of a building with the name of the center on it is really a dream come true for a lot of people. But there are a couple of other events that have happened on this street that I'm also reminded of this afternoon. The first of those was back in 1995-ish, and I had just come out. I was a father of 2 young children. I was living up in Granite Bay, and I really didn't know what was ahead for me. And one of the first things I did is I attended a support group sponsored by the Sacramento LGBT Center, right down the street here on 20th Street, for gay fathers. And that was the first time that I really connected with community in this town, and that was an important event for me in my own process. Fast forward about 25 years, and I was sitting at Lowbrow for lunch with Carlos Marquez and David Heitstuman, and talking to them about joining the board of the LGBT Center and about this dream that they had for establishing a permanent home for the center. I had owned a business here in Midtown for a lot of years. I probably walked by the little yellow house hundreds and hundreds of times, and I always was curious about how things were going there. And during that time, there was a series of directors that came and sometimes went, volunteers, other staff that were trying to keep the organization going. So when I talked to David and Carlos, my question was, David, are you going to be here? Carlos, are you going to be here? Because I saw something really shift when David Heitstuman came and when Carlos took over leadership of the board. And that is that this organization went from a small, volunteer-led, scraping by with nickels and dimes kind of organization to one that was operating professionally, it was growing, it was expanding its services. And that was something exciting. But at that lunch 5 years ago, if you had told me that sitting here today, we would be the owners of a building that was the dream building of anything we could have imagined here in Midtown, and that we would be almost 90% of our way to our fundraising goal, to owning it free and clear, I would have never imagined that that could have happened. Well, it happened as a result of a lot of hard work from a lot of people. The board that you were introduced to, the capital campaign, participants and volunteers that you were introduced to, a number of other people sitting behind us that you're about to meet. But it's been a wonderful experience, a wonderful opportunity to see our community come together and to see the support from city, from our elected officials. And so I'm so excited today to be here as part of this announcement and this invitation to ask the entire community to join us and get us the last mile to completing this project and outfitting it in a way that will support the needs of the community here in Sacramento. So thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. We're going to do some great things ahead.
Thank you very much, Ken and Alan. More than 70 people have already signed up to join in this campaign as individual donors. And so the folks that are behind me now are those that I want to acknowledge as institutional donors that have really stepped forward in a very large way with leadership gifts to the campaign. And the first contributor to this dream was the city of Sacramento. And so I want to thank Mayor Steinberg and Steve Hansen, who provided leadership in securing that funding for the center, without whom we would not have been able to get a commercial mortgage to be able to purchase this building and have serendipity like shine upon us to move into this space. So I'd like to introduce Vice Mayor Angelique Ashby from the city.
Well, I'm so happy to be here today and just help you celebrate. This is amazing. Such a great building and a really important role happening inside of that building. I'm pinch hitting for the mayor today because we're not quite out of the pandemic yet. And he had a little exposure, so he wanted to keep you all safe. But I know that this project is very meaningful to him. I know that it is also extremely meaningful to my former colleague, Councilmember Hansen. But what I want you to know is that it's really meaningful to the whole council and that you have support from all 9 members of that Sacramento City Council. I remember how elated I was to vote on this project, and I remember telling you how excited I was. We're all tied together. I know we're standing in Midtown, and I know the district's broken up into 8 council districts, but there are people here from all over this city and region. There are people working in this building. My friend Robin has been my friend for, 20 years. And she works in this building and does amazing work. And Tia, and your amazing program that you started in South Sacramento. All of these things, it's just a reminder of how close we are, really, to each other. And I was so moved by your story that, this center, even when it was small and meeting down the street, helped you find your way. And that it's helping you find your way. And that we all know what a great leader David is. And that you named all of these leaders up here that are amazing leaders in their own right in this city, but also in the process of supporting this community. And I'm just honored to be amongst you today. And you can count on the city to help you all the way across the finish line. Congratulations to all of you. What an amazing day.
Thank you.
But we were doing so well on last year's budget, Dr. Pan and I are like, man, we should take some of that one-time money and reinvest in our communities, like right here at the LGBT Center. So that's exactly what we did. So like last year, when people like Elon Musk and others, the billionaires, were doing very, very well, California soared in its revenue to the state budget. And yes, we did store a bunch in a rainy day for a future downturn, but we also made sure that we had the chance to reinvest in our neighborhoods. And so Dr. Pan and I picked about a dozen projects. We thought this was one of the ones at the top of the list, so we were able to allocate $1 million towards the capital campaign. And I think at the time, David's like, well, it'd be nice if we could get $3 or so million. If we did get the $3 million, what would you do with the extra money? What would you do? A lot of other ideas. But just about this, the LGBT Center has been in and around this area for decades. And regardless of your location, you always had a significant impact in this community. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for sharing the work of this organization to help thousands of people, not just from the central cities, but from all across the Sacramento region. People in Yuba City sometimes don't have opportunities to get services, so they actually have to come down here. And this is a beautiful building. I see one of our former tenants here, the News and Review. I know everybody who always walked down this area said, wow, it would be nice to have that building. And so not only is it your building, and you're not just paying a landlord who maybe lives far, far away, you are the owner of the building. You own this. No one can ever take this away. So lastly, we know it's been a tough time, not only the pandemic, but for LGBT rights across the nation. The attacks we're seeing on transgender kids and rights in other states are an absolute disgrace. And so we're working at the state level to make sure that we do the opposite and making sure that we invest in entities like this one, the LGBT Center, to make sure we have an inclusive state and inclusive state capital here, capital city. So thank you for the capital campaign for stepping it up. You can count on me and a continued supporter, and we certainly will certainly come back here and support as we have the official 100%, right, capping off, but you're gonna do more. So with that, let me introduce my colleague, great senator from the greater Sacramento area, Richard Pan.
Thank you so very much, Kevin. And as Assemblymember McCarty said, there's two houses in the legislature, so we have to get through the Assembly and through the Senate, and so the two of us, as part of the Sacramento delegation, work together to be sure we fund important priorities in our area, and really want to thank Assemblymember McCarty for his leadership and being sure we bring down resources from the state here to our community. I just want to say that, first of all, it is so important that we have this LGBTQ center. Now, while California hopefully has been at the forefront of fighting for and defending LGBTQ rights, we know that that's not a very long history. It's not a very long history. In fact, just 2 years before I ran for the state legislature, state assembly, so I ran in 2010, 2008, they passed Proposition 8 right here in California, right? And it was a terrible day when that happened. And in fact, when I ran for the state assembly, I ran against the author of Proposition 8. I ran against the author in a safe district for him. The district had actually voted for Proposition 8. It was registered to his party. 28 years, people said, well, nice guy Richard Pan, but can't win. Right? Democrat can't win that district. But we were going to let a homophobe come into the state legislature? No. And we took that seat in 2010. Right? So every time I walked onto the floor of the state assembly at the time, people in the other party, and we're not partisan talk here, but the other party would look and realize that, you know what, perhaps being homophobic isn't a winning strategy, right? And certainly we have continued to move forward. But as my good friend Senator McCarty said, this unfortunately is not true in the rest of the country. This is unfortunately not true in the rest of the country. However, here in California, and particularly here in Sacramento, we will continue to fight not only for LGBTQ rights, but we are going to continue to fight for infrastructure, for supports for your community like this, right? Yeah. Because we know the need is still there. The need is there, and we need to be sure that we are helping to continue to build on the work that the LGBTQ Center board and supporters have done. We need to be sure we continue to expand services and facilities. So, I think, again, Assemblymember McCarty and I, as he mentioned, not only, of course, do we find funding that we're giving for this this particular organization and this building, we're going to continue to be sure we're also funding the services that will be delivered here. And I want to also just recognize, recognize and thank, actually it was Frank Mecca and David who came together, so Frank, thank you. And he's been a big, so I chaired the Bennett Budget Subcommittee on Health and Human Services. He'd always come to my office and said, okay, I need this and this and this for people in need. He was representing the welfare directors. And then he came in and said, hey, by the way, I also need some money here locally for this. And I said, okay, we have it on the list. We're gonna make this happen. So it's going to be important that we continue as a state to continue to fund the services that will be delivered in this building, as well as, of course, helping contribute to the capital campaign. So we're here to celebrate this amazing capital campaign. Again, I think I have to echo Senator McCarty. You launch a campaign with 90% already raised? Okay. I think we have to raise the bar on the amount of money it's going to raise, right? The pitch is already started. Excellent. Okay, the pitch is already started. So we know that we're going to get this done. We got more to do, and then we got to fund the services because we know the need is there. So with that, again, I want to thank you all so much for your hard work, because we're just sort of topping off the tank a little bit with our contribution from the state. But we're going to continue to work at the state to get the resources necessary to serve this very important community. And again, really appreciate being here, and certainly Senator McCarty are proud to be able to work together to try to deliver for the LGBTQ community here in Sacramento. Thank you so very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much for believing in our vision and for prioritizing the LGBTQ community. There are lots and lots of different deserving organizations that have needs, and I really appreciate your prioritizing the center and our community. Next, I would like to introduce you to a wonderful woman who is representing an organization that had the perfect timing for what our needs are in the community. Sacramento Progressive Communities representative, Patti, Harmon.
Thank you. My name is Patti Harmon. I'm a board member of the Sacramento Progressive Communities, a nonprofit that was founded by Mark Whistler and funded by his estate. Mark's vision was to empower neighborhoods and progressive communities by funding projects that provide them with a voice in the development and expansion of their organizations within the Sacramento region. We recently began the process of accepting and reviewing grant proposals for funding of projects that meet our mission. We were extremely excited that our first major donation was to the LGBT Community Center, an organization that fully meets the mission of SPC and is now permanently located in this wonderful and iconic building here in Midtown, where Mark lived and worked most of his career. We are honored to be a part of this campaign launch and can't wait to see where it takes the center in the future. Thank you, David, for including Sacramento Progressive Communities in the launch today.
It was an extremely exciting day that I got the call that they were going to be contributing to this campaign. And not only were they going to be contributing to the campaign, but they were going to be sending us a $1.3 million check that was hand-delivered by Patti. I certainly have never held so much in my hand at once. And never could I have dreamed that someone would be contributing, or an organization would be contributing at that level to the center. Next, I would like to introduce to you Rosanna Herber, who's not only a director on the SMUD board here in Sacramento, but has been a longtime partner and supporter of the center, is on our capital campaign cabinet, and has had an incredibly welcoming and wonderful devotion to the center since I came onto the board almost 10 years ago. Rosanna Herber.
Woo! Are we having a good time? Yeah! Well, I just had to act up just a little bit. People have been just too formal. I'm Rosanna Herber, she, her, hers. I am the first LGBTQ elected member of the SMUD board, and I am here to represent you. And I want you to know that there's a long history here. In some ways, it's a beginning and an ending for me. And I want to thank the board and David and everybody on the campaign who allowed me to get involved in this capital campaign. I was actually 12 years ago recruited by Gail McCarty and David, who were struggling very difficultly to raise money for the center. And the thing that I like to say about myself is that I am a money for magnet. I'm a magnet for money. That too, it goes both ways, you know. So when I came on the board, we actually got people to agree to give $10 a month to the center. the center was going under if we didn't have a big word, and was willing to do those pledges. A lot of us old folk who've been around for ages said, yes, okay, we'll do that pledge. And David was the president, I was the vice president, and then I decided that I was going to retire from SMUD and retire from the board because both David and Gail had really built up the board. I mean, it used to not be a cool thing to be on the board. So, you know, now we've got some really outstanding, wonderful, brilliant people who are leading the way. And I want to say that when it came time for the center to look for a place to have a home, I didn't think it was possible either. You know, big chunk of money. You know, I just want to say that dreams do come true, but you have to dream it and you have to go after it. And that's what this board did, and that's what David did, and I was honored to be a part of it. I'm getting my name on that wall, you betcha. I'll give my money, because this is our home. This is our home now. Nobody can take this away from us. We've got a place to go. If we're upset, we're happy, this is our home. And for that, I gotta say, it does make a difference that Steve Hansen, a former councilman, was on the city council advocating that the center be one of the entities that get money. It makes a huge difference to have one of us at the table asking for things. And Steve did that for us, and we were fortunate to have Angelique, a strong supporter, and the rest of the council, strong supporters. And let me tell you, representation matters. And now that I'm on the SMUD board, and I get to have, you know, a say in how SMUD develops its policies, it's been important to me that we serve all communities. All communities. We're working on SMUD's land acknowledgement statement because SMUD also stands on land that belongs to the Native Americans. So I do want to say that SMUD has been a long-term partner with the center, long-term. Our former CEO, General Manager Arlen Orchard, did a great deal to embed SMUD more in the community. And the center was a recipient of that because the center touches so many parts of our communities. And so I want you to know that SMUD has spent over $230,000 over the last 2 years with the center. And that's a good thing. Now, we don't get to just give out money. We do things like, you know, we put in efficient lighting. We put in solar panels. We make sure you have the most efficient equipment because we want everybody to go zero carbon by 2030. And so I think I've been the longest speaker now. So I'm gonna leave you with just one thing. I do wanna say that in the audience today, we do have a gay man who's running for city council in Natomas, Nate Pelzar. Just say hello to folks. Yeah, we're not going to be political here, but he is a gay man, and I wanted to acknowledge him. And with that, let me bring one of the most distinguished gay men back to the podium.
Thank you very much, Rosanna. One of the wonderful things about our partnership with SMUD is not only did they devote $100,000 to this project, but we became a sustainable communities partner with them. And that has continued to bear fruit in the programs and services that we offered at the center. So they provided us another additional grant to put solar on the roof and reduce our operating costs, reduce our carbon footprint, and they have invested in our economic justice program. and has been able to help folks gain employment and work with us to ensure that SMUD as a workplace is more affirming and safe for everyone who works there and is served by the organization. Next, I would like to introduce Gary Mizell, a member of our Capital Campaign Cabinet and CEO of Western Health Advantage.
Thank you, David. I appreciate it. So I'm very honored to be on the Capital Campaign Committee board. It's been a wonderful campaign. It's been extremely successful. And Western Health Advantage is pleased to support it as well. So people ask me, why is Western Health Advantage supporting the campaign? And some people think, well, it's because their president's a gay man, right? Well, that helps. I mean, that's part of it. But actually, it's a lot deeper than that. It's because we're all about health of the mind, the body, and the soul. And we talked a lot today about the building, and it's a beautiful building. I mean, I've walked by this building for years, and I've always thought, wow, that's an incredible building. And that's important. It's important for the center to have a home, because everybody needs a sense of place, and this is now the place. But it's more for what happens inside the building. And let's talk about the body and mind first. The center provides an incredible number of services to the community when you talk about health of the body and health of the mind. In fact, today I think there was a vaccination clinic. They've been in that vaccination business since the beginning. But I think more importantly than even health of the body and the mind, it's about health of the soul, because that is maybe the most important thing. And overall, I think that the center is a place of healing, and it has been for a long while. And now it's going to be a place for healing in this beautiful building. And that's important because we are 53 years past Stonewall, I think this June, and still our community needs to be healed. So I think that is the most important mission of the center, and that is its mission, and that is to heal. So that's why we're involved. Thank you. And you all should be involved too. And there are plenty of opportunities for that. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Gary. And I noticed that Denny Mangers showed up here this afternoon, who brought folks like Gary into the campaign. Thank you very much. Next, I would like to introduce a very important partner for the center. 3 years ago, Sutter Health invested in the center with its largest gift ever. They gave us a $500,000 capacity building grant that has really allowed us the opportunity to move from that little yellow house to an interim space, to this space, to increase and expand programs and services at the center. All the things that you've heard earlier, those things were made possible because of the support that Sutter Health brought to us. And so now I would like to introduce to you Rachel McKinney.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Rachel McKinney. I'm the CEO at Sutter Medical Center here in Sacramento. I'm honored to be with all of you today, and just want to say thank you to David for the opportunity as well as for the tour that we had earlier, and really showing us the breadth and depth of services that you provide here. As an integrated health system, Sutter Health is driven by our not-for-profit mission to improve the health of the communities that we serve, both inside and outside the walls of our hospitals. We provide care for those that cannot afford it. We fund education and research that will improve lives and support programs and organizations that provide healthcare access and services for those in need. It's at the heart of who we are and what we do. Making a positive impact in the community takes time and teamwork. Therefore, we form strong partnerships and make strategic investments that support impactful programs to meet the needs of our community's most pressing needs. Partnerships like the one between Sutter Health and the team at the Sacramento LGBT Community Center. Sutter Health has been fortunate to support the growth of the center over the last 3 years to increase access to preventative and mental health support, homeless and at-risk youth programs and services, and workplace cultural humility education. The center stands as a beacon of hope for the LGBTQ community in Sacramento and beyond. A safe and welcoming place where individuals of all ages can find help, as well as hope and support when they need it most. Sutter Health believes deeply in the impact of the center's work and values our partnership. Having seen the results of our prior investment as the center has grown and dramatically expanded services for thousands of LGBTQ people over the past 3 years. David and his amazing teams are quite simply remarkable, and we continue to be impressed by their tireless efforts to support those in need. We are proud to renew our program support with a $500,000 investment to help the center continue to grow. And we are so confident in the center's mission and its leaders' visions for this project that we are offering an additional $500,000 as a challenge investment to match donations to the campaign. We know there are so many community members and organizations out there that believe in their work as much as we do. So I invite all of you to join us in support of this project. Starting today, Sutter will match donations dollar for dollar up to $500,000 to help the center close the remaining gap and reach its $6 million goal to complete the campaign. Improving the lives and the health of our community starts with innovative thinking, diverse voices, and inclusive approaches. We're making that progress here today. At Sutter Health, we're proud to be a part of this community. We look forward to being a part of the many efforts that help improve lives across our region and have a lasting impact on generations to come. Thank you again for this opportunity.
Boy, today wasn't an exciting enough day for me.
Thank you very, very much, Rachel, and to Sutter for your support. I very much look forward to working with all of our community to close that gap and to finish this campaign and finally have the center that our community deserves. I want to appreciate your mention of staff that work here at the center, and I want to ask all of our staff members who are here to come up to the front here and just give them a big round of applause. They are the lifeblood of the work that we do here. They worked really hard on today's event. The volunteers and potential volunteers that are over here. Today was a busy day. We had a volunteer mixer, we had a vaccine clinic, we did tours and an open house. Just what a day here at the center. Thank you very much to the interpreter here on stage. And to get us started on those matching funds that Sutter just offered, I have another surprise for you for a longtime donor and supporter of the center that contacted me just a bit ago to commit to a $150,000 pledge from Dr. Sam Sarasillo at Sutter Health. Where are we now? So 500, well, let's see, 150,000, I don't know. We are around $5.3 million. So that's where we stand at the moment. If anyone would write the $700,000 check today, I'm happy to accept that. But we do have a new webpage up for the campaign. We invite you to join us. It's at saccenter.org/welcomehome. Please check it out. We hope that all of you will join us in the campaign. I want to thank everyone up on stage for joining us today. Thank you all for your patience in this beautiful 80-degree weather today. And I hope that you have an opportunity to check out the inside of the building. We'll be happy to answer questions and chat with folks from the media or from community members. Thank you all very much for coming.